Hi everyone, you're welcome to MJ Apparel tutorial, and today we'll be learning how to cut, sew and attach a female collar to a dress. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, like and also share this video. So I'll be drafting on my paper first before I'll transfer to the fabric. So the first thing you'll be doing when drafting a shirt collar is to measure the neck circumference of the garment you are attaching the collar to. So I'll be measuring the neck circumference of the garment I am attaching the collar to. So you measure all round from the front to the back and also to the front again. So here I have 15.75. So this is the neck circumference of the collar I'm going to be making. So I'll be drafting the pattern on fold. After measuring the neck circumference, what I have is 15.75. I'll be dividing the 15.75 by 2. So after dividing, the answer I got is 7.8. So I'll be marking the 7.8 at this point like this. Remember, I am cutting on fold, but first I'll be drawing a straight line which will serve as a guide for me. This is where I'll be starting my measurement. After which I will insert the 7.8 at this point, then I'll mark. So after marking the 7.8, the next thing I'll be doing is to square up the line. We are drafting the collar stand first. So after doing this, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to determine the height of the collar stand. I'll be using 1 inch for this illustration, but you can use 1.25 or 1.5 inch depending on how high you want the collar stand to be. So the next thing I'll do is to connect the 2 points together using a straight line. So after doing that, the next I'll be doing is to go in by 0.5 inch at this point, after which I'm going to be making a slight curve with my hand like this. So this is what the collar stand will look like. So the next thing we're going to be drafting is to draft the main collar. And in doing that, I'm going to be going in by 0.75 inch at this point. Then I'll mark. So this point here is the collar stand. The next thing we are drafting is the main collar. After marking this 0.75 inch, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to insert the height of the collar. I'll be using 3 inch for the height of the collar, after which I'll connect using a straight line like this. So after doing this, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to determine how the height at the back is going to be. You can make it 1 inch or you can make it 1.5 or 2 inch, but I'll be using 1.5 at this point because I want the collar to cover the collar stand a little. So after marking this point, next I'll be going out by 0.75 inch at this point to get the slant of the collar. Then I'll connect to the 0.75 point I went in by on the collar stand using a straight line like this. Next I'll be connecting this point to this point using a slight curve. So here we have the collar stand and the main collar. Remember, we cut it on fold. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut it out. So after cutting it, this is what we are going to have. I'll just open it up for you to see. So here we have the collar stand and the main collar. So next thing I'll be doing is to cut on my fabric. I'll be cutting 2 pieces of the collar stand and 2 pieces of the main collar, and I'll also be adding 0.5 inch round, but I won't be adding that on the folded part. I'll just add it round like this, after which I'll come back and show you the results. After cutting it on my fabric, this is what we have. So I have 2 pieces of this of the main collar, and I also have 2 pieces of the collar stand. So I cut it the same. I'll be using one as the lining and one as the main facing of the collar. So I'm just trying to remove the pin so I can open them up. So we have this on this side and we have this on this side. Next thing I'll be doing is to iron my collar stay on one of the collar and one of the collar stand. So, and I'll be using my pattern to do that so that I don't iron on the sewing allowance. So I'll do that and I'll come back. So after attaching the collars, this is what I have. Remember, I didn't put it up to the allowance. Next, I'm going to be sewing the collar together. So I'll take this part and attach to the one that has a collar still on it. So I'll just turn it over so that the good side will be facing the good side. Please take note of that. The good side should always face the good side like this. So next, I'm going to be going over my sewing machine to sew from this point like this down to this other point. This part will be left open. So just go and sew over the 0.5 inch sewing allowance I have, after which I will come back. So after sewing, this is what I have. I sewed around this point like this. So the next thing I'll be doing is to notch the collar so that I can easily turn it over. So I'll be cutting this sharp edge at this point, and I will do same for the other one like this, after which I will turn it over. So after turning and ironing, this is what we have. The next I'm going to be doing is to attach the collar stand to the main collar, and this is how we are going to be placing it. This part here is going to be attached to the neckline, while this part with the curve will be attached to the collar stand. So first I'm going to be notching the center of the collar so that I can place the both of them properly. So I'll do the same thing for the collar stand also. Before you notch it, make sure that the both of them align together to avoid shortage after sewing it. So after notching, the next thing we are going to be doing is to attach the collar to the collar stand. But before then, I'll quickly run a stitch on this open part, after which I will show you the next thing to do. So I have closed up this part. Next, I'll be attaching the collar to the collar stand, and in doing that, I'll be placing it this way. This is the good side. Then I'll place the collar in between. Then I'll place the other part of the collar stand like this. So the notch part should be in the middle, while the collar will be at the center. Then the other collar stand will be on top. So I'm going to run a stitch like this towards the cuff part, and also do the same around this point like this. I'm sewing on my 0.5 inch, so I'll just do that, after which I will come back. Take note of the notch part, it is very important. So I'll just quickly run the stitch and come back. So after sewing, this is what you have. As you can see, the main collar is in between the collar stand. So the next I'm going to be doing is to notch around this cuff part. I'm going to be notching it, then I'll turn it over. So when notching, be careful so you don't cut your seam. After turning it over, this is what we have. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to give it a good press, and I'll also be folding in this sewing allowance I have here, the 0.5. I will do that for this part and also for this part, after which I will come back and show you the final results. So I have given it a good press, and I also folded the 0.5 inch I left for the sewing allowance on this point. I did the same thing on this part. This will help us to sew easily. So when you fold it over like this, this is what we are going to be having. As you can see, the collar is already taking shape. The next thing we are going to be doing is to attach it to the garment. So here I have my garment. I turned it to the wrong side. In attaching the collar to the garment, you will turn your garment to the wrong side and start from the left. And also you'll be attaching the part without the gum stay first. So I'm attaching the part without the gum stay. Then you will sew it round like this. You place it this way. Make sure that the edge is meeting the edge of the garment. Then you take it round to the other side of the garment like this. The midpoint should meet, as you can see. The notch part should meet the center back of your garment. Then you take it to the edge of the garment like this. Quickly do this on my sewing machine, then I'll come back and show you the results. So here I have attached it to the neckline like this. As you can see, I sewed it round to the other part. The next I'll be doing is to give it a notch so that it will lay down well on the neck. So after notching it, I'll turn it over. So this is what the inside look like. As you can see, it is looking very neat. So I'll be turning it over like this, after which I'll place the part that has the collar stay on the garment like this, and I will sew round. So you're going to be folding in the sewing, you'll be folding in the seam allowance, then you will sew. So this is why you need to iron that 0.5 inch allowance. When you iron it, it will be easier for you to sew this part. So this part with the gum stay, you will place it this way. You place it at this point like this, then you will sew. So when sewing, make sure that you sew at the edge. You sew at the edge so that you will have a neat sewing. If you have a hemming gum, you can gum it down first, then you run your stitch. So I'll quickly do this on my sewing machine, after which I'll come back and show you the results. So after closing up that part, this is what we have. This is the back. As you can see, it came out very neat. So this is what we will have. So here we have the final look of the collar when folded. This is what it's going to look like. So if this video was helpful to you, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you can get notified whenever we post a new video, and also don't forget to like and also drop a comment.